Ex wants to be friends after cheating. Am I wrong to say no? It started like any other Tuesday. Mark and I had been together for 3 years, living in that comfortable, predictable groove that most long-term couples fall into. Dinner at 7, Netflix, maybe a little We were happy, I thought. He'd started going to the gym a lot more lately. Trying to get in shape for summer, he'd said, flexing an arm that looked pretty much the same as it always had. I teased him about it, but secretly I was pleased. He was taking care of himself. The first flicker of unease came a few weeks later. He was working late a lot. Big project at work, babe. Gotta impress the boss. I'd make him a plate and leave it in the fridge, always reheated and eaten by the time I woke up. Then the text. It was on his phone, innocently charging on the kitchen counter while he showered. A simple "had a great time last night" from a number I didn't recognize. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. Who's this? I asked, trying to keep my voice casual when he came back into the kitchen, towel around his waist. He glanced at the phone, a flicker of something panic in his eyes before he quickly composed himself. Oh, that's just a new client. We went out for drinks to discuss the project. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But the knot in my stomach wouldn't loosen. Can I see the rest of the messages? He hesitated. Seriously, Sarah, it's nothing. Just work stuff. You don't need to worry about it. That was the moment the unease turned into a full-blown alarm. Why wouldn't he just show me? A week later, I met Liam, one of Mark's friends, at a bar. We bumped into each other, small talk, the usual. Then Liam, bless his oblivious heart, said, "So, how do you like Mark's new gym buddy? Emily, right? He's been practically living at that place lately, totally obsessed." The world seemed to tilt on its axis. Gym buddy. Emily. Obsessed. I excused myself, walked to the bathroom, and stared at my reflection. My face was pale, my eyes wide with a dawning horror. That night, I confronted Mark. "Emily, who is she?" He stammered, denied, deflected. I don't know anyone named Emily, but I pressed. I told him about Liam, about the text, about the gut feeling that had been gnawing at me for weeks. Finally, he cracked. "Okay, fine, there is an Emily. She works out at my gym, but it's nothing. Sarah, we just talk. Just talk." Liam said you're obsessed. The truth came spilling out then, a torrent of lies and justifications. He'd met her at the gym. They'd started talking. One thing led to another. He swore it was a mistake, a moment of weakness, that he still loved me. I didn't even yell. I was too numb. I just told him to get out. He begged me to reconsider, to give him another chance. He promised it would never happen again. But the trust was gone, shattered into a million pieces. I couldn't even look at him. Chloe, my best friend, practically moved in with me for the next few weeks. She brought wine, ice cream, and a whole lot of tough love. He's a dirtbag, Sarah. You deserve better. The first few weeks were a blur of tears, sleepless nights, and endless replays of our relationship in my head. Had I been blind? Had there been signs I'd missed? Was I not good enough? I lost my appetite. I couldn't focus at work. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of pain. I finally started seeing a therapist. She helped me unpack everything, to understand that his actions were about him, not me. She helped me realize that I deserved to be treated with respect and honesty. David, a colleague at work, was surprisingly supportive. He listened without judgment, offered a shoulder to cry on, and helped me regain my confidence professionally. There was no romantic interest, just genuine friendship. He mentioned, vaguely, that he'd seen similar situations destroy his own family. One day I saw her, Emily, at a coffee shop. She was laughing, talking on her phone, completely oblivious to the destruction she'd caused. A wave of rage washed over me, so intense I almost marched over and confronted her. But I didn't. I just turned and walked away, my hands shaking. My mom called, as she did every few days. "Have you forgiven him yet, dear? Holding on to anger is bad for your health. You need to move on," easy for her to say. She'd been married to my dad for 40 years. She couldn't possibly understand what I was going through. 3 months after the breakup, I got a text from Mark. "Hey Sarah, can we talk? I miss you." I deleted it without responding. He didn't give up. He left voicemails, sent emails, even showed up at my office. I had to ask security to escort him out. It was humiliating. I felt a surge of panic, the vulnerability almost crippling. Then, he cornered me at my apartment building, waiting in the lobby like some lovesick teenager. "Sarah, please," he pleaded, his eyes red-rimmed. "I know I messed up. I'm so sorry. I realize now what a terrible mistake I made. I value your friendship more than anything. Can we please just be friends? Friends, after everything." That night I barely slept. My head was spinning. Could I forgive him? Should I? Was I being unreasonable by refusing? I talked to Chloe. "Absolutely not. Are you insane? He cheated on you. He lied to you. Friendship is out of the question. Block his number. Get a restraining order." David was more measured. "Forgiveness is important, Sarah, but it has to be on your terms, not his. You have to protect yourself." I went to therapy again. We talked about my need for closure, for validation. I realized that part of me wanted to believe he was truly sorry, that maybe, just maybe, we could salvage something from the wreckage. But then I imagined what a friendship with Mark would actually look like. Awkward conversations, constant reminders of the past, the gnawing feeling that I was settling for less than I deserved. I spent an evening alone, just thinking. I drank wine, listened to music, and let myself feel everything. The anger, the sadness, the betrayal, the loneliness. And then something shifted. I realized that true healing didn't come from forgiving Mark. It came from forgiving myself for trusting him, for letting him into my life. It came from accepting that the relationship was over and that I was strong enough to move on. I called Mark the next day. Can we meet? Just one last time. He met me at a park near my apartment. He looked tired, defeated. I've thought about it, I said, my voice surprisingly calm. And I can't be friends with you, Mark. I need space. I need time to heal. A friendship would just be too painful. It would be a constant reminder of what happened, and I don't want that in my life. He started to protest, to argue, but I cut him off. I'm not saying you're a bad person, Mark, but you hurt me deeply, and I need to prioritize myself now. I need to protect myself. I paused, taking a deep breath. I don't want to hear from you again. Please respect that. He looked like he wanted to say something, but he didn't. He just nodded slowly, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and resignation. I turned and walked away. The first few weeks were hard. I still had moments of doubt, of sadness, of anger. But slowly, gradually, the pain began to fade. I started taking a pottery class. I reconnected with old friends. I focused on my career. I went on a few dates, but nothing serious. One evening, I was sitting at my favorite bar, sipping a glass of wine. The bartender, a friendly guy named Ben, smiled at me. You seem happier lately, he said. You've got this glow about you. I smiled back. I think I do. I was still healing. I wasn't sure what the future held, but I knew that I was strong. I was resilient, and I was determined to build a life filled with joy, love, and respect for myself. And Mark, well, he was just a chapter in my story. A painful one, but a chapter nonetheless. And the book wasn't finished yet, not by a long shot.